up here on the Now, seeing the damage already in the Bahamas from Hurricane Dorian. You may be asking, how can you help? The unique way veterans are stepping in and what you can do as well. A big change impacting how you shop. Cashierless stores are expanding with smaller businesses getting in on this trend, and why they say this is all about enhancing your experience. And there's just something nice about seeing all those likes on your Facebook post, but that could be going away. Would it be for the better, or do we really benefit by seeing all those likes? We're getting some perspective on this.
Sunshine, not storms, at least in central Indiana. There goes Monument Circle downtown. Thunderstorms well to the north of Indianapolis at this point. Let's take a closer look at the radar. Thunderstorms just northwest of Lafayette, then kind of a broken line that would take it through Kokomo and Peru. Logansport, you just had a good downpour, but it's brief. You see how additional thunderstorms kind of follow this line, and I think we'll continue that trend for the next couple of hours, but moving back into southwest White County will be a stronger thunderstorm. Temperatures, they're warm. They're in the 80s, 84 in Indianapolis. That's today. 24 hours from now, we'll be talking about how much cooler it is. Scattered thunderstorms continue with severe weather potential this evening. By this evening before midnight, a few of these may have damaging wind or large hail. Temperature down to 77 by the time we get to 10 o'clock tonight. Amanda?
Thank you, Kevin. And following breaking news tonight, we are now learning 11 vehicles were involved in a crash in Avon that has left 2 people dead. The pileup happened at Rockville Road and County Road 625 East this afternoon, and that intersection is still closed right now. A school bus was involved in the wreck as well, but there were no students on board. The bus driver is okay. A dump truck was also involved. Avon police say the dump truck driver was taken for a drug test. But again, 11 vehicles were involved in that wreck at Rockville Road and County Road 625 East in Avon, and 2 people are dead. We are working to learn more about the victims and the cause of this crash. And the urgent search for a missing 10-year-old girl continues tonight in Grant County. Skyly Carmack was last seen Saturday afternoon on South D Street in Gas City, which is just southeast of Marion. Volunteers on foot or in golf carts are making their way around town with flyers in hand, knocking on doors of residents, asking if they had seen any sign of the missing girl. This is the home in Gas City where Skyly Carmack lives with her dad and stepmom. Her dad is holding on to hope that she is all right.
We haven't been able to find any tracks, none of her belongings laid around anywhere. So right now we're just really in a panic because we can't find anything.
Skyly is 5 feet tall, 100 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes, last seen wearing a black shirt with Mario and Luigi on it. We are told she answers to Sky or Boog. If you have information about Skyly Carmack, where she might be, you are urged to call Indiana State Police at 765-473-6666.
The devastation continues to worsen across the Bahamas as Dorian comes to a crawl. More than 13,000 homes have been damaged or destroyed. The flooding is still causing problems, trapping people in their homes until they can be rescued. The U.S. Coast Guard is jumping into action. Crews have helped bring nearly 24 people to safety. Now, these before and after images of the Grand Bahama Islands really give you perspective on the flooding they're experiencing from Hurricane Dorian. The satellite picture on the top is before Dorian made landfall. The bottom picture is after. The yellow lines on that bottom picture show where the land was before the hurricane flooded that area. And in Florida, many are bracing for the full impact of Dorian. Chris Stewart has the story from Cocoa Beach.
Well, the weather conditions expected to pick up over the next couple of hours here in Cocoa Beach. Right now, you take a look behind me. Police are actually telling people to get off of the beach as the wind and rain is expected to pick up very shortly. Dorian off of Florida's coast right now, and it's heading north in our direction to the central coast of Florida. We're about 45 minutes from Orlando right now. We have talked to the Red Cross, who says that they have resources in place to help people, but we have seen throughout the day a lot of people coming out and seeing the conditions, just like the really strong surf you see behind me that they typically don't see in this part of Florida.
We wanted to see
the
water that's coming up.
Definitely never like that, for sure.
Yeah, it's never like this, ever.
Been there, done that.
So this is not all that scary for us. You know, this is just, if you live in Florida, you better deal with hurricanes. If you live in Massachusetts, you better deal with blizzards.
Now, this is a mandatory evacuation zone. Much of Cocoa Beach shut down a couple of days ago. There are a few places that say they're going to stay open as long as they can. There are some people who say that they're going to hunker down for this storm. Those conditions expected to pick up through the overnight tonight and into Wednesday. In Cocoa Beach, I'm Chris Stewart reporting.
Thanks, Chris. Well, the Coast Guard has called off the search for any possible survivors of a deadly boat fire off the coast of California. 20 bodies have been found. The other 14 are presumed to be dead. 5 crew members were able to get to safety, but it's unclear at this point what started that fire. It's not just Amazon getting rid of cashiers. Nope, smaller businesses are starting to make the big change.
Many other retailers, including ourselves, are looking at this as a way to really enhance the customer experience.
Coming up, how this new technology could soon affect your shopping experience.
Experience Hoosier Lottery. Play responsibly.
Welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. A milestone today in the expansion of a hospital in Hendricks County. Today, IU Health West Hospital in Avon held a topping out ceremony in the $84 million vertical expansion project. The topping out marks the placement of the final steel beam in the structural frame. It's not the end of construction, but it's one of the significant moments in the project. The IU Health West Hospital vertical expansion is expected to increase the hospital's inpatient capacity by more than 50%, adding 48 inpatient beds. 1 floor will be added to the hospital's B inpatient tower, and 2 floors will be added to A tower.
And we want to keep care as close to home as we can, and so we needed some additional capacity to allow us to do that, because we've had really some significant issues from a patient flow standpoint, purely because of the volume. And so this expansion allows us to address that in a way that creates a better experience for our patients.
The new areas of IU Health West Hospital will open in phases beginning in mid-2020. The hospital is still open during construction.
Stores, both big and small, are testing the use of artificial intelligence to improve your experience. The technology allows customers to take the food right off the shelves and to leave the store without standing in the checkout line, automatically charging their credit card. Now, we found one store in Denver joining in on the trend of cashierless stores. A coffee and a few snacks are a must when heading to work for Austin.
I have one goal in mind, it's just whatever I want to get in that store and get out there, get out of it as fast as I can.
But he says it's not always the case.
The lines are always pretty long, and self-checkout isn't as efficient as people make it out to be.
This starts to get slower when maybe you have produce and you literally have to go through and try to find the bananas or whatever you're buying. Well, struggle no more. That's actually changing with technology now. Come 6 months from now, Mike Fogarty, owner of Choice Market, says they plan to introduce a cashierless system using artificial intelligence.
So it's using cameras, sensors, and other things within the store to monitor what's being taken off the shelf, what a customer's walking out with, and ultimately charging it to their credit card or the app.
Amazon Go stores were the first ones to eliminate the checkout line, and now companies like Sam's Club are testing out the technology too.
Many other retailers, including ourselves, are looking at this as a way to really enhance the customer experience. And my opinion is you'll see this in almost every retailer in the very near future.
As far as jobs are concerned, Fogarty says he doesn't anticipate having to let any employees go. Ahead in the lineup, seeing the damage already from the Bahamas from Hurricane Dorian, you may be asking yourself, how can you help? The unique way veterans are stepping in and what you can do as well.
RTV6 is working for you.
The video and stories coming out of the Bahamas where Hurricane Dorian hovered for a second day are heartbreaking. In South Florida, donation sites have been set up all over Miami-Dade County, including at fire stations. Meanwhile, other global disaster relief groups are staging to help in Dorian's aftermath. And that includes organizations like Team Rubicon, started by military veterans, and now with more than 100,000 volunteers, they go into disaster areas to help with everything from road clearing to rebuilding to medical relief. They have teams staged from Florida to North Carolina, and they're working in the Bahamas now.
But about 70% of our volunteers are military and veterans, and they bring, again, that unique skill and experience from their military training to bear in disaster. You can imagine the chaotic scene in the Bahamas right now.
Team Rubicon also takes civilian volunteers, and like most relief groups, cash donations are best. Team Rubicon is rated very well on the website Charity Navigator. Now, you should look up any nonprofit there before you donate. Heart to Heart International is another great group that has high ratings. They have mobile medical units, and they're working with partners to provide aid in the Bahamas. AmeriCares is another one that is very transparent and manages its finances well. Right now, they have matches for every dollar donation made, so money you give essentially doubled for Dorian relief. International Medical Corps and the Red Cross also have teams on the ground in the Bahamas. So what do waffles have to do with severe weather safety? Everything, apparently. Listen to this. Believe it or not, FEMA depends on Waffle House to gauge just how dangerous conditions are during hurricanes. It's called the Waffle House Index. Now, it has 3 levels. If you see a Waffle House that's open and has a full menu, the area is in the clear. But if it has a limited menu, people should probably start making safety plans. That means the restaurant either has no power or is running on a generator. And if it's closed, there's likely severe flooding or damage in the area, and people should get to safety. Waffle Houses rarely close, so it has to be a really extreme case of severe weather.
We may have to shut some restaurants down. It's a little tough for us because all of our restaurants are 24/7. We don't know how to turn things off. So we have to really shut the restaurant down in an orderly fashion.
Now, Waffle House has a storm center outside of Atlanta, and that's where the company tracks the storm and sends out information to its restaurants. But it also has people on the ground looking at conditions. Those people are the ones who have a more accurate view of what's happening and help decide when restaurants should close. Now, Waffle House is prepared with a jump team that actually takes over 4 regular staff during a storm. This helps restaurants to continue operating while employees go home and stay safe with their families. Hurricane Dorian will have a big impact on beaches in the south. The USGS says 80% of beaches will deal with erosion. All of the beaches in Georgia and South Carolina are expected to see damage. The dunes are also expected to be affected, and there are storm surge warnings across the southeastern coast. All right, let's start with the Now News feed. Houston police say a man pulled a gun at Popeye's restaurant because he was upset they were out of chicken sandwiches. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Now, the suspect eventually left with his friends, but police are currently reviewing surveillance video. Prince Harry is making a push for sustainable travel, but this comes after he faced criticism for taking private jets to vacations despite his vocal support for protecting the environment. The prince is now teaming up with a number of travel companies as part of the project. And singer Ariana Grande is taking aim at the retail chain Forever 21. She says the store used her image and likeness in its marketing campaign without her permission. The two sides had been negotiating a deal before talks broke down in February. Grande is suing for $10 million.
Thank you, Annie. Do you know the difference between an estimate and a contract? If you own a home or condo, it is necessary you know those differences. Working for you, John Mattery shows us how confusion can be costly, so you don't waste your money.
If you own a home, you've probably gotten an estimate at some point for a new roof, a bathroom, or some other work. It's just a rough estimate, right? Well, not always, as one woman found out the hard way. Deb Schubert needed some trees trimmed.
They took a look at the property, the amount of trees that we wanted to cut down, and we were just at this point searching for estimates.
She thought nothing of it when the contractor asked her to sign the price quote.
He wrote out the estimate, said, can you sign it? We did. He gave us a copy of it, and he took off.
But when she told him a few days later she was going with another company, she couldn't believe what the trimmer said.
The estimate that we had signed was actually a binding contract, and that if we were to cancel or not do work with them, we were required to pay them a 20% cancellation fee.
He wanted several $100s. Now, most tree trimmers are honest, and they're not going to play fast and loose with words. But this is a warning that you need to be very careful anytime someone asks you to sign your name. So don't let this happen to you. Jobsite.com says an estimate or quote is non-binding. It's just a guess at what the job will cost. A contract shows an exact price, and once both parties sign, they're obligated to go through with it.
We were very clear that we were gathering estimates.
After Deb told the trimmer she was contacting us, he dropped his demand, and so we're not naming him. But Deb still wants to warn others to be careful.
Pay attention to something if you have to sign it, because you don't want to get stuck in the situation that we almost got stuck in.
Bottom line, ask questions and read the fine print before you sign any document. Being asked to sign an estimate should be a red flag. Something may not be right, so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries for RTV6.
And while you see sunshine on White River in downtown Indianapolis as you look toward White River Park, we've got storms on radar to the north. The threat for thunderstorms will increase for all of us this evening. Jay County, Portland, back toward Muncie, up to Hartford City. Showers, thunderstorms with some heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and nearly constant lightning have developed. The strongest storm that we're tracking right now, southwest White County. This will move to the east-southeast, come very close to Delphi, between Lafayette and Delphi. As far as the storm's movement, moving to the east-southeast at almost 30 miles per hour. But Round Grove, Battleground, Rossville, and Mulberry in the path of that storm, capable of producing half-inch hail and also 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts at this point. We'll watch to see if that intensifies. Rest of central Indiana now without thunderstorms, but the trend will be for this to drop to the southeast this evening ahead of a cold front, which will take all of these temperatures, push them back into the 70s. Tomorrow evening will be dry, and we'll be talking about how comfortable conditions are because that wind will have shifted from the southwest to the north, and that'll make all the difference in the world. Between now and 11 o'clock, thunderstorms becoming more likely. A few may be severe with damaging wind and large hail. The main threats, temperature at 11, 77 degrees. We'll show you the 4-day forecast coming up.
Walmart announcing big changes today in light of recent mass shootings. Walmart will stop selling bullets for handguns and short barrel rifles once stores run out. They also plan to stop selling handguns in Alaska. That's the last state where they sold them. Walmart will still carry hunting style type weapons and ammunition. Now they're also asking customers to stop open carrying guns in stores. Well, there are several class action lawsuits where you could be in store for a piece of settlement. Massage Envy was found to have increased prices without proper notification. If you went from November 2008 to this June, you could get some money. And if you bought Seagram's ginger ale from April 2013 to June of this year, you could be eligible.
Those Seagrams charge what consumers would think is a premium to get a real ginger ale product when it's just artificial flavoring, which is giving them that yummy taste.
Finally, if you bought a Nexus phone from September 2015 to May of this year, you could qualify for some cash. Turning now to the news feed. Christmas is more than 3 months away, but people are already worried about shopping. A new study from CoreSight Research found 57% of people believe tariffs could affect their ability to buy presents. Tariffs on $300 billion worth of Chinese goods went into effect Sunday. A benefit concert for El Paso was a big success. Musician Khalid raised $500,000. Now, he went to high school in El Paso for a senior year. The money will go towards helping the victims of last month's mass shooting. Well, good news out of New York City. Health officials say the measles outbreak that stemmed from Brooklyn is over. The city's health commissioner says despite the declaration, there is still a threat of infection. He's urging people to get their kids vaccinated before they go back to school. Well, there's a serious concern when it comes to children's lunches. A report from the University of Bristol says a child lost his sight because of his diet. They say the 14-year-old only ate fries, Pringles, white bread, and processed ham and sausage since elementary school. Now, the doctors say he didn't appear to have any obvious issues at first, but then they ran some tests. They treated him for several nutrition-related issues. A year later, he lost his sight and also had hearing issues. Dog breeding has had an unexpected impact on canines. A new study says not only have we changed factors like their colors or size, but we've changed the shape of their brains. Scientists say a significant takeaway from the study is that humans have made an impact on another species' evolution in a relatively short amount of time. This applies to a number of dog breeds, including hounds and retrievers. All right, next in our lineup, there's just something nice about seeing all those likes on your Facebook post, but that could be going away. So would it be for the better, or do we really benefit by seeing all those likes? We're getting perspective on this coming up.